Excuse the piano. Bruh. Bruh. Are you done yet? Are you done? I had to put Isaiah down because he was getting into everything. So, but yeah, I just wanted to do this video just to like talk about my pregnancy journey. I know I gave birth like 7 months ago because he's 7 months now. So, but I just want to do this video just to reminisce on, you know, how it was being pregnant and how I felt and, you know, everything. So starting off, well, I found out I was pregnant, I think about 3 months into it, and me and my boyfriend were like excited. We, you know, it wasn't like a bad thing to us. It was like a, you know, we're bringing a child into the world. It was a blessing to us. So he wanted a girl, but it didn't work. I did too. He kind of convinced me to kind of want a girl, but originally I wanted a boy. But I got my boy. I was happy either way, but and he was too, but he just really wanted a girl. So for some reason, I don't know what happened, but me and my dad weren't on the best of terms. Like it was like tension. It's been like that ever since I became a teenager. It's just I wanted to do my own thing, and like he would always have a problem with it. It was always a problem when I wanted to like spend a night at somebody else's house or stay out late. So it was just, we weren't on the best of terms. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was not going to tell anybody. I was just going to walk around like, if they find out, they find out. I don't care how you feel about it. It's mine. You gonna whatever. That's how I felt. I just remember one day I got really sick. I thought it was just, you know, a cold, a common cold or whatever. So I just, you know, sneezing, coughing, all that stuff. But then I started getting fever. So I'm thinking like, you know, maybe I should go to the hospital. But I wasn't rushing. I was like, let me take a nap. I took a nap and I literally woke up in excruciating pain with my back like thumping. It was like thumping pain. It was like contractions in my back, basically. That's exactly what it was. I was like, I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta find out what this is. So I get to the hospital and they tell me I had a bladder infection, a UTI that was untreated. And they say it's common with pregnant women, but I didn't know that. So it's where you have fluid in your kidney. It's when you don't get it treated, it backs up into your kidneys, and then that's what gives you the back problems. So that's what I was having, because I know, like, they say pregnant women have back pains, but I'm like 5 months pregnant. I know he not that big. I literally wasn't showing, like, you could see it a little bit, but I was not showing like that to where my back could be hurting due to like the weight of the baby. So I'm like, there's no way I should have back problems. Oh, matter of fact, I think I was 4 months pregnant. I'm like, there's no way I should be having back problems. So that's why I was like, okay, this is crazy. But that's what happened. So they had to put me on antibiotics and I had to stay overnight. Now with my father in his house, I have to be back by a certain time. Cause I didn't tell, I just went to the hospital. I didn't tell anybody. So my dad didn't know where I was. I told him I was at the hospital, but then he was getting worried because I had to spend the night at the hospital because they had to monitor the baby. I couldn't leave. So he was like, what's going on? And calling me. And he ended up coming to the hospital that morning. And, you know, we were talking about what was going on. I'm like, and my man, I'm like, I gotta tell him, because if the doctor come in, he gonna be like, oh, you're pregnant. I could not have that happen. He looking at me like, you what? So while we were talking, I'm telling him what happened. I'm like, well, just to let you guys know, because my mom and dad came. So I was just like, just to let you guys know, I am expecting. So that's why they had to keep me overnight to watch, you know, monitor the baby. Literally, I thought in my mind, like the whole time, I'm mad at him. I'm not telling him nothing because I honestly thought that it's not gonna let me stay in the house. Like I'm gonna have to find a way to make it, or on my own with my boyfriend, something. I just knew he was not gonna let me in his house. he was gonna be mad at me. Like, I just really thought this was the way he was gonna be. But when I told him, he was like more concerned about me than being mad. I thought he would be like, what? Okay, well, you gotta pack up and get out. You can tell he was very disappointed, but at the same time, he was like, well, what do you plan on doing? Like, do you plan on still working at the bank? Or you plan on doing this? And are you guys gonna get married? Just asking me a lot of questions. But it was more concerning than like interrogating or like, him acting out of rage. And then my mom was just quiet. She was just staring. Like, it was weird, but I ended up telling him. And then as soon as I told him, the doctor came in and said, well, this is common in pregnant women. I was like, I'm glad I told him, right? But yeah, so I had to tell him because I really was going to walk around like, oh yeah, I was pregnant. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell y'all I'm pregnant. I was dead ass gonna do it. Like, I really was. But my pregnancy was very smooth as far as like the nausea, and I think I threw up maybe once, and that was like in the beginning, like maybe 2 months. I think I found out 2 months. I'm not 3, 2 months. I found out at the 2-month mark. I think I threw up maybe once throughout the whole pregnancy. Like, I let everybody be like, you must be having a boy. The only thing was my nose was huge. It's huge now, but it was like huge, like times 2. The pregnancy was like very smooth. I ate everything. I had some cravings like ice cream and stuff like that, but there was no throwing up, no nausea, no morning sickness, no nothing. My skin was clear, my skin was popping, everything. It was like, girl, you cute. Like, thank you. Okay, so it got up to where I didn't start getting big until like my 7th month. He was a pretty tiny baby. So I was originally due on August the 31st. That was the date that the doctors gave me. So that week came around and I'm not feeling nothing. I'm like, I've been working out throughout my pregnancy, that too. Around maybe the 5th month, I started working out. And because I heard that, if you need to stay fit or your body ain't gonna snap back. So I was in the gym every day working out or doing some type of walking something. Because I was determined. You hear me? Determined. I didn't want too much weight to build up to where I'd give birth and I'd just be like, oh dang, I gotta get this all off now. So it got around that week, the week of August the 31st, and I'm still walking around. I'm chilling, like I'm feeling good. I think my family reunion was that week. Matter of fact, my family reunion was the day before my due date, and I was like perfectly fine. I'm walking around like, hey y'all. They like, when you do? I'm like, tomorrow. And eating on hot dogs and everything. So I was just chilling. So then August 31st comes around. I'm just like, I'm waiting on you. So the whole day goes by. The whole day. Nothing. What I did, I did feel a lot of the Braxton Hicks contractions where it tightens up. It's like a practiced contraction, I guess that's what they call it. Where it like tightens up and then it gets loose. It was very irritating, like I add. But that's it. Like, everything was perfectly fine. Like, I was chilling, like talking to my cousins and eating and everything. Then August 1st comes. I woke up, did one of these on my phone. Then I'm like, but maybe I need to go sit on the toilet. Go sit on the toilet. And I use it or whatever. And I'm like, these are some like strong, I didn't think there were contractions because honestly, it felt like I had to go, like have a BM. And it was like, I actually had a doctor's appointment that day to see, how many centimeters I was dilated and stuff like that. So I'm like, these are some very strong little gas pains, excuse me. Like, So I'm thinking the whole time it's gas pain, because at first I'm like, maybe it's contractions, but at the same time I have to use it, so it's like maybe they're gas pains. But I've never had gas pains this bad. So I went to the doctor. I actually had my mom and my sister come with me because it felt like contractions because it kept coming. So I'm like, okay. We get to the doctor and she checks me, which is I hated it. She was you are 2 centimeters dilated. Please get your fingers out my cooch. That stuff hurts. I was crying. But she checked me and she was just like, well, the head is not all the way down. So I could come today. He could come today. He could come later, throughout the week. So we made an appointment on Friday that if he didn't come, then we would induce my labor on Friday. So cool. I went home, but meanwhile I'm still having these contractions. They're not as strong, but I feel them. And as soon as I get home, it was like, boom. Contractions, they hurt. Okay, let me tell you. Doctor was like, if you have contractions, you'll know it. You won't be able to be on your phone and do nothing. And baby, let me tell you, you won't be able to do nothing but sit there and hold your stomach. For real. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like on a chair like this. I'm everywhere. I'm trying to walk. The doctor was telling me to keep walking. She was like, I don't care how much pain you in, you better walk. I'm like, baby, I was on the floor. I was on a chair. I had my sister counting the contractions. We was trying to figure out if I should go into the hospital or not. I'm like, these contractions hurt. You need to call that nurse and tell her what's going on, and then she'll take it from there. She'll tell me if I need to go or not. So we called the nurse. She was like, well, yeah, if she's having contractions, she needs to come to the hospital. So we go to the hospital, me and my mom and my sister. And before I could even get to the room, I'm throwing up on the side of the wheelchair while they're trying to wheel me to the room. It's bad. I'm like in pain. Before this, I said, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get a epidural. I don't want to, because I've heard many things, like it could hurt your back or you can become paralyzed if it goes a certain way. And it's just not natural. So I felt like, maybe I could do the whole natural thing. No. Okay. No. I was like, give me the epidural. But unfortunately, I wasn't dilated enough, so they couldn't give me the epidural. So my doctor, she wasn't there yet, so the nurse called my doctor and she told her to tell me that I need to walk around for an hour. She actually told me to walk around for 2 hours and then see if I'm dilated enough. I can't listen. I said I am in pain. I can't walk around. They had me walking up and down the hospital hallway for an hour because I said no to 2 hours. I was like, ma'am, I can't make 2 hours. She was like, well, you can do 1 and then we'll just figure out where you're at. I said, whatever. So I'm sitting there walking in pain, like the nurse is walking by like, poor baby, because I was like, I had tissue in my hand. I was like using it as a stress ball. Like it was really bad. Like the contractions were like horrible. But they made me walk for an hour to get the baby to push down a little bit. So after an hour, she checked me and she was like, you're dilated enough. I was like, thank you so much. I couldn't do it. It was horrible. So once they gave me the epidural, I would love to say that things got better. They got a little better. I expected to not really feel anything once I got the epidural, and I felt pretty much all of the contractions. I felt, maybe because I felt everything in my back, and I don't know if it's just me, because I see some people or hear different stories and people be like, well, my contraction, I just felt a little pressure when they took the epidural. So I'm thinking maybe it was just me, but all of my contractions were in my back. Like even still with the epidural, I felt everything. It was like horrible. Then I had my dad. Once my dad got there, my boyfriend got there first, and then my dad got there after him. And my dad was reading the charts, and every time he saw the little line go up like I'm about to have a contraction, he said it every time. He's like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's about to go. Okay, it's leaving, it's leaving. Every time it went up and down, I was like, oh my God, please get him out of here. I was like, no, it was horrible. But after a while, because I went to the hospital around 12, so around 8, it was time for me to push, because they broke my water. It didn't break on its own. They had to break it, and then it was time for me to push. So my mom and my boyfriend ended up staying in the room with me. My mom was like coaching me on the side while he was holding my legs. But I literally pushed for 15 minutes. That was the best part, because I guess the only thing that the epidural did work as far as like numbing my legs and everything down there, because I didn't feel anything. It felt like pressure, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought that would be the worst part, and it wasn't. It was like the most relieving part of it, because it's like I'm pushing it. I'm not just like trying to hold in the contraction. I'm actually like pushing it, down. So that part wasn't that bad. And she was like, while she saw me pushing, she was like, oh, they go to head right there. You've been working out. I said, yep, I sure have. And once I pushed Isaiah out, I didn't hear any crying. Why don't I hear him crying? Like, what's wrong? She said, oh, he's fine. They kept telling me. Then he ended up crying maybe a little bit. He didn't cry at all. I think maybe the reason why he didn't cry was because of the epidural. I think maybe the medicine kind of got into him as well, and that's why he didn't cry. I don't know what it was, but he did not cry. I was like, babies are supposed to cry. What's wrong with my baby? But I ended up having to get stitches. I definitely did. I swear she was sewing up a sweater down there. She was down there for a very long time, just making sure. So after I was done, like I couldn't walk, so I had to sit for a while. I had to like just relax and let the medicine wear off. Couldn't walk at all. Like I thought I could. I tried to go to the bathroom and I almost fell. Like, no. So once it wore off, they switched me to another room and stayed there for 3 days, or stayed there for 2 days, two nights, and was able to go home with a healthy baby. He is so healthy. He was 6 pounds, 7 ounces. Came out with a head full of hair. I know he better had, because I was having heartburn. That's another thing I was having, was heartburn. Not as much to where it was like unbearable, but I did have some heartburn. Light skin butt looking like me. I guess he'll look like Brian a little later, but right now he looks like me. Yeah, so now he's 6 months with, actually no, he's 7 months. Oh my God. Time goes by so fast. So he was born on August 1st, so he just turned 7 months. So he's been, his teeth been growing in, and he's been able to, he can't crawl yet, but he's trying to. He's using them legs. He's getting into everything, as you could see, trying to play the piano and everything. He is like, I'm just so proud of him of how he's progressing. Just to watch him grow up is just amazing. And how fast. He was literally a little baby. He was just a tiny little baby, like yesterday. And now he's like 7 months. And I know I'll say this like when he's 1. Like this is crazy. Like I just had him. But that's time really flies. It really does. I have so many clothes that he just grew out of. I wish I wouldn't have bought so many newborn clothes. Because I really, when you have a new baby, you go shopping for clothes. Ooh, I like this one. You look at all the little clothes. Don't get a lot. Just get a lot of clothes, because he will grow out of those very soon. So that's one thing I wish I wouldn't have done. But I don't know. It's just, I really enjoy being his mom. It has its challenges. Sometimes I'm just learning as I go. I'm happy to have my family with me and, helping me. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and like I'm just excited to see how much more he can learn and how much more he can progress. So I love you, Zay Zay, the best son a mother could have ever asked for, and I love you so much. you.